What does China mean by fight till the end? And what does that mean basically?
Yeah, because if, 1 or 2 years back, President Xi Jinping, he was talking at a study group with the Communist Party leadership, and he categorically mentioned, by weakness and giving concession, you cannot have a sustainable peace. To have a peace, you need to be strong. So this clearly shows that China is not going to show any weakness. Why China has adopted this policy? Because in the 18th, 19th century, China was giving the concession to the European countries, Japan, US, and other countries. It culminated into the century of humiliation. So China have learned this lesson. These signs of weaknesses does not solve the problem, does not secure the sovereignty or the interest of the country. So that's why they have to fight back. That is the policy guidelines which I extract from the different readings of the President Xi Jinping and his special talk on the subject. And second thing, so can China fight back? That is more important question here
So
because
the
there's
more important question right now, Mr. Ramay, is how China will fight back.
that's what I am going to talk about. So can China fight it? Because when you have to fight, you need mechanisms and the system to fight back. Because most of the time, so when we talk about there, we can talk about the need of the thing and the practical application or the practical possibility to achieve. That is very important. So for China, it's a need of the time. On the practical side, it's possible. Why? The possibility is because China has foreseen this situation, especially President Xi Jinping, for many years. He was erecting different mechanisms and devising policy to face such situation. For example, first he launched Belt and Road Initiative. Belt and Road Initiative is an investment and a trade initiative. So where China have invested 1 trillion during the last 10 years, and Chinese trade along the BR with the BRI country increased from the 1.03 trillion to 2.4 trillion. I think that is the figure. So more than double. One thing. And second thing, 153 countries are member of that initiative. Second, China launched the China International Import Expo. It has attracted 297 companies from the list of 500 Fortune companies at the global level. During the last 7 sessions, the CIE has held its event. That is a huge number. And almost 3,000, 2,900 new products or technology has been introduced at the event of CII. And the more companies are coming there and find it as a good opportunity to showcase their innovation and new technologies. So China has attracted the global companies here. Third, China has also started to strengthen the mechanisms for investment through the establishment of Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. So it is one of the biggest banks. So if you look at the dominance of West or the America, it was based on World Bank, IMF. It was based on WTO, World Trade Organization, and its other political organization like the UN and its agencies. And China has simultaneously built its own institutions like BRI. It's a trade and investment institution which is leading the world at this point of time and the biggest initiative in the human history. Then CIE, it attracting the investment. Then the BAO Forum is another forum which is being held in China to attract the people from all over the world to participate and benefit from the Chinese economy. And China is the biggest trade partner of the world right now with 6.1 trillion US trade with the world. In these indicators, if you look at, apart from these things, one more things which China has invested along the course, they have invested on innovation and the technology development. Now China is the leading player in innovation technology. For example, Australian think tanks, they have presented a report of the 44 critical technology in the world. And China was leading in 37 technologies. That is a huge list. One thing, if we look at on the other side, the dependence element. So America was what USA was doing. They was trying to eliminate Chinese dependence on American market. For example, they put the sanctions for the technology. They are not allowing Chinese company to import chips or semiconductor technology and other instruments. They are from USA. So China on the parallel developed its own market. So China invested in these areas and developed its own market. But on the other hand, US was not able to invest on to eliminate or to finish its dependency on Chinese market. For example, when I give these examples, so the manufacturing base, USA cannot compete with China in the manufacturing. And this is very open fact. If US decide to go further to compete with China, they need trillions of dollars and decades to build that infrastructure which China have at this point of the time. So they
I
cannot
want you to
compete.
explain and expand this further.
Yes, I am
You
coming
know
here.
very well. You know very well. U.S. Is proud of being the victor of the two world wars by its sheer industrial capacity, and you are arguing that currently U.S. is not capable of matching China in its industrial capacity.
Yes. And I give you one example. For example, so Tesla, so one of the most important ally of President Trump, they import, that they are the dependence on Chinese market is almost they the dependence on the Chinese market for their batteries and these things is a 40%. So they have to import the 40% of their batteries and related material from China. So do you think can Tesla survive if there is a ban or there is a this trade war goes on? You can go for the other examples for other companies like Apple, like Qualcomm, so that the chip company, which is the 30% shares come from the China. Intel, the 30% share come from the China. So these companies really rely on their on the revenue side, but also for the technology. For example, the big technology making company like East West Manufacturing, they are telling the story. It's not about only so one thing or two things. So the cheap labor from China, it's other factors. For example, the availability of the raw material for any manufacturing or the production house. So China have the highest raw material there available there. Then the skill development or the skill development level to go for the manufacturing. China have no match right now. Do you know in 2025, so China have the double number of STEM graduates than the USA. And only 15 or 20 years ago, China, USA has the most STEM graduates from the China. And if you look at the skill development in China, in the USA, so top CEO, CEOs, they are mentioning that there are almost 70% skill development gap in USA required for the different manufacturing companies for different activities.